Hello, one and all. This is Kevin, your film critic from iCritic.net. Thank you for joining me for this very brief video. It's been a while since I've made a video about the rating system and wanted to try out a new format to boot. And so this probably won't be news, but you know, I got a few emails about it already, so maybe it will be news. So anyway, The Batman, Matt Reeves' upcoming Batman movie. The one that everyone, for some reason, thought it was going to be rated R. Well, it ain't. It has officially received a PG-13 rating. But of course, it sounds like a very hard PG-13. So this is what Collider wrote. He may be a menace to the criminals that stalk Gotham City, but the film ratings community doesn't think he's R-rated material. According to FilmRatings.com, director Matt Reeves' The Batman has received a PG-13 rating for strong violence and disturbing content, drug content, strong language, and some suggestive material. I mean, geez, I'm glad it only has those things in it, because we all know that teenagers are very mature and well-adjusted adults. Maturely speaking, of course. Anyway, continuing. Though this rating may come as a surprise to those who have seen previews for the latest retelling of the Caped Crusader, we are here to remind you that even director Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy received the same PG-13 rating. Those movies were ripe with disturbing scenes and imagery, including Scarecrow, played by Cillian Murphy, drugging Gotham City's water supply, the Joker's Heath Ledger ferry detonation plan, a scene where Harvey Dent, Aaron Eckhart, loses half of his face in a fire, which leads him to become Two-Face, and all subsequent scenes that feature Two-Face's terrifying new look. Audiences also watch as Bane, Tom Hardy, slaughtered countless civilians via armored vehicles, guns, and even with his own giant hands. With all this in mind, it's hard to say where the PG-13 rating ends and the R begins. I can totally agree with that. PG-13 films can still be filled with swear words as long as they don't go over the edge with usage. This rule is particularly for the F-bomb, of which the PG-13 films only get one before getting knocked to an R rating. You know, in my opinion, that should just be 0, because the F-word bomb is basically the easiest way to get out of an R. I have had filmmakers tell me, this is a little side tangent of course, that they make it a point to include 1 or 2 F-words in every film. And the reason they do this is because if their movie gets an R, then they can usually take those words out, and then they can get a PG-13. But if they don't get a PG-13, then they'll just leave them in, because what the harm at this point? It's basically a little flexible rule in which people have been using for a long time, studios, filmmakers, whatever, to skirt the R rating. So, just a personal tangent there. Anyway, they can also feature nudity, just not sexual nudity. There can, however, be innuendos made, such as 2 people lying in bed together, implying intimate relations, just so long as no nudity is actually shown. Our first looks at The Batman show us a dark Gotham City bursting at the seams with crime and chaos, from Riddlers, mechanical murdering spree, to gun shootouts. It looks like we will see non-stop action violence in the upcoming film. So anyway, that's kind of the story on that one. And the reason I knew that this was a big deal and why I decided to make a video about it is because, well, to be perfectly honest, sorry about that for a second, it's trending on Twitter. Like, PG-13 was trending on Twitter. And as you can see, there's still posts being made about it. So, let's see here. Eric Davis says, I understand the desire to debate the PG-13 rating for The Batman, but keep in mind almost all of the biggest and best superhero movies ever made were rated PG-13 or PG, including every live-action Batman movie, even The Dark Knight. Good storytelling trumps all, remember that. I agree. Variety says, The Batman lands PG-13 rating despite gritty, violent tone. I wonder if they have actually seen the movie, if they're just basing it off the trailers. People should also keep in mind that the trailers can sometimes make things seem a little bit worse than what they end up actually being. So, let's see here. What else? Ballsy Sports says, that's our PG. That must be referring to something else. Chris Killian said, wait, people are really mad that Batman isn't rated R? As if an iconic PG-13 Batman somehow isn't possible? Comicbook.com says, PG-13 rating stirs heated debate among fans. Let's do one more. That one's not very interesting. Let's see here. Willis says, oh, well, actually, let's go to Johnny. He looks a little bit more interesting. For comparison, The Dark Knight was rated PG-13 for intense sequences of violence and some menace. Joker was rated R for strong, bloody violence, disturbing behavior, language, and brief sexual images. Matt Reeves ain't playing with y'all. Cram your dark Batman complaints. So, anyway, I totally agree. On the positive side, for any fans of Bob's Burgers out there, I didn't actually look it up real quick, but Bob's Burgers is actually going to be, let's pull this up real quick, it's going to be PG-13. Like, there it is in the corner. Let's see if we can make this a little bigger. Go down. Actually, I think it's just out of sync. It's just out of sync. Let's move this down just a little bit. And there it is. And there it is. It's rated PG-13. So, I actually thought that one would be rated PG, but I guess the Belcher's family was just a little too raunchy for the MPA. So anyway, it's always a little disappointing when this happens, but there you go. Dark Knight is rated PG-13. Forgive all the technical glitches of this episode. This is kind of more of a test run episode, if we're being honest. I just want to see what things do, so, and, Ohio Supreme Court is trending for a reason. I don't know why that is. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I personally don't think it's going to be a big deal. All the Batman movies have been PG-13. And, you know, I mean, would it be nice to have an R-rated Batman movie? I mean, I guess we got the R-rated Justice League and the R-rated Batman v Superman, and honestly, I don't think those are any better than the Christopher Nolan films. They're not those weren't even as good as the PG-rated Batman Mask of the Phantasm. But anyway, we're going to leave it there. I'd like to know what you think. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly.